NDP leader Don Davies says one of his MPs has crossed the floor. In a statement late Tuesday night, Davies said Nunavut MP Lori Idlout will be joining the Liberal Caucus. The two-term MP was first elected in 2021. This move follows the defection of 3 Tory MPs. Mark Carney's Liberals now need to win 2 of 3 by-elections on April 13th to have a narrow majority. Early this morning, the Liberal Party issued a statement from Idlout, in part saying with new threats against our sovereignty and pressures on the well-being of people throughout the North, we need a strong and ambitious government that makes decisions with Nunavut, not only about Nunavut. Adding, I have decided to join the government caucus and to work alongside Prime Minister Mark Carney to build the better future that Nunavummiut are counting on.
The position of the New Democratic Party on floor crossing is long-standing and clear. To us, the decision of voters at the ballot box is a sacred trust. And if a member of Parliament wants to override that decision, we believe they must go back to the voters and make that case to them and receive a renewed mandate. You know, I'm becoming increasingly concerned by the way that Mr. Carney is trying to stitch together a majority government in this country. Once again, to us, whether or not there's a majority government is fundamentally a decision of the Canadian people at the ballot box. And it should happen that way, not through backroom deals cut behind closed doors in Ottawa.
Any thoughts on your new member, the new member of your caucus?
Well, I would say welcome. You know, I think what I was saying is that obviously the plan that we have put forward to grow the economy, to empower Canadians, to protect our sovereignty is something that Canadians see themselves in. You know, if you go across the country, people see that in these uncertain times, the geopolitics, geoeconomics of the world, you see more and more people rallying behind. And I'm not surprised to see colleagues which are doing soul searching and say, I want to be at the decision table.
Look, MPs have the opportunity to make decisions as to how to best serve the community, and I think Lori perceives that she has an opportunity to have a big impact for the people she represents from the government side of the House of Commons. I do find anytime you see a floor crossing, you sometimes see the political party who finds himself on the wrong end of it suddenly adopts a philosophy around floor crossings that maybe wasn't such a public position in other instances. Don may be more consistent than others in this regard, but my own view is that Lori is a valued member of Parliament, an excellent representative for our community, and we're thrilled to have her on the team. Lori's a friend. We've had the opportunity to work together. When I went to her community in my role as housing minister, we invited her to make the announcement for her community alongside us. We spent a couple of days getting to know her community. She built a tour for us, despite not being part of the same party at the time.
Lori was my critic for many years as the Minister of Indigenous Services Canada, and we worked actually really well together. What you see in the House is sometimes not what's happening in the background, and we worked. I actually went to Nunavut and spent time with her in Nunavut. I think she brings a real understanding of the needs of people for sure in the North, and in particular Inuit, who often are a voice that's left out of this place, and so she's a strong representative of, in particular, Inuit voice, but I think of the needs of the North, and I also think that she has, you know, a long record of advocacy, which is, for me, an important ingredient in a member of Parliament.
Did you think you guys offer something more, like promise something more for the North in order to bring her to
No, I think, look, we've been really clear that the North is a priority for us from an Arctic security perspective, from a ensuring, you know, our sovereignty perspective, but also to make sure that people of the North feel that they are a very important part of Canada. And so I think she, hopefully, I would guess she's been hearing that message.
But do you think Ms. Idlout can continue her advocacy in the way she is now? And she's been very critical of the government and its record with the North. Do you have an expectation that she will kind of tamp that down now that she's part of the government?
Look, I think there's lots of different ways to do this job, and you know, there's lots of people in our big tent of the Liberal Party, and I would say that that is, as I just said, a big part of our role is to do that advocacy. And there's a lot of different ways to do advocacy. Even as a minister, there's ways to do advocacy for a perspective, for a population, or for an approach that maybe is not the one that's the majority perspective.